Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 73. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
You're doing Mike.
Mike the Birdman dog! Singing and dancing.
Yep. Nice. So, I guess right off the bat, what has been new with you guys since the new year?
I've had the death flu for the last week and a half. And I'm just coming out of it today. I've also discovered I think I know what it's like to S the D of Satan. I call it Buckley's. Oh my God. If there was a more foul-tasting fluid on this planet, I dare you to find it. All I taste is that fucking Buckley's. Oh, and here's a pro tip. Want to make your life suck even more? You might think Buckley's. Sure, it'll kill the cold. That's good and great. You might think, you know what? Maybe I'll have a mouthful of ice cream to get that taste out of your mouth. No, wrong. That is a mistake you will never repeat again. Ice cream, that tastes like Buckley's. Disgusting.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. It's a public service announcement from here at the Geekcast Radio Network.
Yes.
Holy shit, that sucked. Other than that, playing a lot of Call of Duty. I come back to Twig next week. Just kind of hanging out, actually. Kind of enjoying the time off, actually. It's been nice.
Yep. And for me, I've been dealing with a whole bunch of crap.
Oh, very descriptive, Mike.
Oh, God.
Well, let's keep it to a minimal, because there's been a lot.
I was going to speak of the last week or so. For some odd reason, I really think my mom's pain doctor is a phony.
So he's a witch doctor?
No.
I like that. The pain doctor. Sounds like the world's most awesome wrestler.
A witch doctor would probably actually be able to help my mom compared to what this guy does. He has zero bedside manner. Because of the new laws for narcotics, my mom is on hydrocodone for pain because she has rheumatoid arthritis and vasculitis and all kinds of other itises. It can only be, with the new laws, thanks to the government that we have these days, you have to actually go get the prescription from the doctor and then actually go to the pharmacy. Now, for normal people, this would be fine because normal people drive and can get around. Well, my mom can't drive anymore. I don't drive. I haven't driven the entire 35 years I've been on this planet. You know, I just never learned how, and I just don't think I can, honestly, with the physical disabilities I have with cerebral palsy and everything else. If people watch me play Grand Theft Auto and Need for Speed, there's no way in hell anyone would let me behind a wheel of a real car.
So you're one of those guys that has, like, bumper car syndrome.
Bumper car syndrome? Are you kidding me? I crash cars into buildings and stuff. But
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Crash and burn syndrome, okay.
Yeah. So it's a pain in the ass every single month. She goes through this, and it totally stresses both of us out and everything else. What I don't understand, and I understand it and I don't understand it, I don't understand why they can't just write her a 3-month prescription, 90-day prescription, and then just go back and see the doctor in 3 months. You know,
wow, they do that in Canada.
Well, I guess we're going to have to convert then. But it's just
you can move in with with God.
No.
Oh, if we could get a bigger house.
Yeah. So that's been going
on. Can we live with Blanchard?
No.
You don't want to live with Mike.
Shut up!
Yeah, I know. I
Like
don't
Dodd,
want.
not Mike Blanchard.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to live with Dodd.
Come on, I get all the cool toys.
He does.
Right.
It's annoying as hell.
It's like giving candy to a baby.
See?
Or baby to a candy.
Oh, that
Just sounds wrong.
yeah. Let's see.
Here, baby,
what else
here's some
is
Pop
going on?
Rocks.
I published my top 10 picks for comic series of 2014, which the top 3 are TMNT from IDW, Cowl from Image, and Sex Criminals from Image Comics. Let's see what else is going on.
You've spouted on long enough.
Shut up.
This is not an advertisement.
Oh, shut up. We finished up the GCRN Wars tournament, so there's that.
I'm totally sad I didn't get a chance to get in on that.
That's
I was
all
so
right.
dead and things was timing sucked.
I think there's might be a spot for you in this thing called the GCRN's Top 100 Video Game Favorites.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Can I name 100 video games?
You have to. Well,
It's very hard stretched because you can go back from the late 70s, early 80s, all the way to now.
And these would just be my personal 100, or
Your
just
personal
best-
favorite 100.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could pretty much do that.
yeah. The minimum rule
Yeah.
is we have to at least submit 50.
Well, that's no problem. 50.
I still have to organize my 100, but
I tried getting 100, but I went by games that I've actually played,
that's what I did.
not just games that I like. Because sure, I can sit here and say, yeah, I like the new Need for Speed game. I've only seen it. I haven't actually played it. So I tried to go by what games I've actually played, and I can only come up with 50.
I've played well over 150 games. I just had to whittle it down.
Yep.
There would be a lot of sequels in mine, but you know what? I send me the info after the show, and I'll get cracking on it when I come back on Monday.
Awesome. But yeah, that's definitely going to be something fun that people will get to hear, and it's going to be like a closed house version this time. We're not jumping all over because it's the GCRN, and Twig is welcome to contribute to.
Yeah.
Because we've always kind of collaborated on stuff all along the way. So, yeah, the tournament finished up. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. I will say that none of the people you thought were going to won the tournament.
The best part about episode 21 is the bonus vote.
Yeah, the bonus vote is between Link and Sonic, which ought to go to show you that they didn't make it to the finale.
I can think of reasons why Sonic could win. I can think of reasons why Link would win. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go and listen. So
Yeah, I made a graphic every step of the way. It's hilarious how it ended up. I predicted up to about the quarters, and then after that, it was all hell broke loose.
Can I?
you know who didn't see this coming?
Who?
Future Spock. That's the Twitter. About this.
Yes.
Highly illogical.
Can I just say, Steve, who's higher in the results for the bonus vote?
Of the bonus vote. Who?
Right now, currently, Link is higher than Sonic on the bonus vote.
Link is the shit, but then again, what version of Link? You really want to talk.
The classic version.
They're tied.
No, they're not.
I just voted.
Oh, well, stop that. You already voted. You can't vote again.
I didn't vote.
Oh.
Not in the bonus round.
Oh.
It only lets me vote once anyway,
That's-
per IP address.
Eh,
So
yeah.
for my household, I can only do it once.
Yeah.
I can do it again at work,
No,
but that would just be
don't
wrong.
do that.
Doesn't matter. It'll go on forever till the end of time.
Yeah.
Jack and Daxter forever.
Don't even. Just.
I'm joking. Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank.
No.
Okay, man.
Those characters need to die.
Oh.
Anyways, on a lighter note, I was driving home from work today, and mind you, we're recording this on Thursday, so the day before it releases, and the blizzards are starting to come down. I started my car prior to leaving work just to kind of get running because it's below zero. And as I'm leaving at 6 o'clock when I get out, I take one expressway to another expressway to a road, and then discover that the road is backed up. So I get on another expressway because I usually have to take 3 to get to one place, which is annoying. And I managed to see a car going entirely too fast on the expressway in the fast lane, the passing fast lane, wipe out, crash into the sidewall, flip around, do a 360, and end up pointing in the opposite direction.
Ouch.
To which point I got off the expressway.
You
Yeah, no
think?
shit.
So yeah, that happened, and I was like, yeah, there's no way in hell I'm staying on the expressway now. I wasn't really wanting to do it to begin with. That just was a deterrent. And then once I got onto the main road again and I started driving home, the next 15 minutes was a back and forth of my car deciding to shut off.
Oh, geez.
It would start losing power, and then it would shut off.
Oh, damn.
And then show me various lights. And then so I get it home, and it's stalled out 6 times by the time I got home, and get it in the garage. I start looking at it. Bastard's pretty much out of oil.
Oh, Jesus. Wait a second. Back up here for a second. You work at a car dealership with cars all day long. How is your own car out of oil?
I'm not a mechanic, and 2, it shouldn't have been out of oil. I've let it go to 4,500 miles before an oil change, and it actually says in the manual it can go up to 7,500.
Mm-hmm.
So I was planning on getting it next week anyhow. But I went up to the auto parts store, and I had to buy a couple quarts of oil, put it in there, let it run for a minute, drive it around the block 4 times. Nothing happened. It drove fine. So I've come to the conclusion that's what the problem was.
You're hoping anyway.
And you're
Yeah, the brain juice was gone, so it didn't want to function. And so I'm going to get the oil change tomorrow when I go into work, just to make sure that it's full. And because some gasket could be loose, I don't know. Car's retarded.
Get them to check stuff over too, because if you let the oil go out, sometimes it can fuck up a couple things.
Yeah, luckily I work there, so I can get some people to look at it for free. But
Yeah.
I just didn't think that it was going to do that. So
Don't you have one of those fancy dancy lights that turns on whenever you're out of oil?
yeah, it turned on, and my check engine light and my battery light, so the car shut off.
Oh, my God.
It was like, screw you, you're gone.
It was a triple threat.
Yes. My car tends to do that. The wintertime, because I found one issue. My car has this hold light and check engine light that flash in the wintertime if it's below 30 degrees. It's always done this since day one, which I'm guessing is why the original owner traded it in and I bought it used. So
Just a stupid sensor.
it's not a sensor. It ends up doing this almost misfire type thing. Funny thing is it does it after it hits 45 miles an hour. It's under 30 degrees out. After the vehicle has decided that it's ready to fully function, which is about 20 minutes into the drive, it as soon as I come to a complete stop after it's done all this, everything resets. It works fine.
One
It
of
does
those
it every
quirky
winter.
things.
It's a piece of crap Korean car.
Oh, no.
So
Okay.
and it's had nothing but electrical problems since I bought it.
How cold
but-
is it there?
Well, considering I just heard the polar vortex outside, I think it's below. I'm pretty sure it's below 0. It's got to be. I was outside snowblowing earlier, and
I don't know the conversion to Fahrenheit, but we were minus 33 Celsius.
it's probably pretty close to 0 here.
Look it
Probably
up,
like
Michael.
-5 or something.
Michael Dodd is looking it up because I'm curious.
It's 11 degrees Fahrenheit in Swartz Creek, Michigan right now.
Hey,
Well, I'm in
Oh,
Flushing.
Well, whatever.
Who cares? Moving on.
Cold as witch's tits, as my father would say.
It's too cold. That's the point. But yeah, so that's what I've had to deal with today.
It's still the same temperature in Flushing. It doesn't matter.
Yes, I know. It's terrible. So yeah, that's what I was doing, and then I've been playing Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. It's the first time I played a Dragon Ball Z game in about 5 years, because that's when I had my PS2.
I think there's a new Dragon Ball Z game coming out right now. Actually, I think this month.
They have another one that just came out in January. This one came out like a year and a half ago. That I bought.
It's not that Battle of Z or whatever, is it?
No, that one was the other one. That's the one that came out this year. I can say I'm not a very big fan of the new menu systems and how long they take to load. But
They need to go back to what was it? Ultimate Budokai Tenkaichi 3, I think is the best that series.
It was Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That was the best Dragon Ball Z game ever.
Yeah, fucking hands down the best.
Okay, it was minus 27.4 Fahrenheit here
Hey,
yesterday.
that's cold.
Thank you for that.
Weather lady, and I will leave you.
Or Dragon Ball Z, you and your Saiyans and your Gokus.
Over 9,000.
Kamehameha.
It's the only thing I know.
But I watched that new Dragon Ball Z movie though too last week, so that's kind of
Pretty good?
what spawned. Actually, it's really good.
I know there's a new one coming out. I think it's this year. It's called Resurrection of F, but it's the Frieza comes back or something.
Yeah, Frieza comes back and he's got a fifth form.
This is going to be really cool. I think even the guy from Battle of the Gods comes back. That Beirut or whatever his name is. Yeah,
Battle of the Gods was actually really it was actually really fun. I thought it was going to be total crap. And the guy that wakes up the god of death or destruction or whatever, he tells him that what has happened to Planet Saiyan, or Planet Vegeta, and he's like, oh, it's destroyed. And he says, oh, Frieza did a good job, and he says, I'll have to go kill him later. And then he says, too late, someone's already done that. Who killed Frieza?
This asshole with the spiky hair.
Yeah, so, and then him and Goku both find out about each other through, the one finds out through his overseer, and the other one, and Goku finds out through King Kai by accident because he overhears Supreme Kai telling him, don't tell them to meet. And he's like, yeah, I heard this prophecy about a Super Saiyan God. And he just comes to Earth in the middle of Bulma's birthday party and interrupts it, and then he bitch slaps her, and Vegeta almost goes like Ultimate Saiyan. But he's not strong enough, and then they find out Goku's been standing behind everybody watching the entire battle take place. And just letting them get their ass handed to him. But I guess they had to have 6 Saiyans transfer their power to Goku to become Super Saiyan God, which is basically Super Saiyan plus Kaioken.
Oh, shit.
So, because Goku's hair is, red as a Super Saiyan, so it's kind of crazy.
It's funny. I've actually been watching a fair chunk of anime over the break here. I finished Death Note again for the second time a couple weeks ago. I'm actually watching the Robotech series right now. I'm hoping to finish it before the end of next week. Probably not going to happen. I don't know. It's kind of nice to go back and watch older anime, and sometimes when they do new stuff, it actually kind of works out.
I kind of miss the old, I missed watching Dragon Ball Z to some extent. I know they've redone it a couple times. Even though it's the same series.
I just wish there was an anime series that would really grab a hold of me again.
Dragon Ball Z was the last one.
Yeah,
for me.
For me, it was Gundam Wing, and Death Note were the ones I actually watched with any degree of regularity. I think Bleach is done and Naruto's done now, and I have a passing interest. I don't know. It's so hard to find an anime series that just grabs you anymore. But I think it's because you and me, Steve, we come from the older generation with these kids and their Pokemans and everything else. Just don't necessarily get it. I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're right. I have a hard time getting into anything that's modern anymore.
I
think it's just because I'm old.
But I find going back to like older stuff, thinking, man, this is really good. Why does nobody talk about this? Like I'm watching Robotech, as I was mentioning, and I didn't realize how brutal that series was. I mean, the name alone is a little stupid, but when you go into the storyline and you realize how many people die per episode, it has this feel kind of like Battlestar Galactica, or at least in the part that I'm in right now. They're coming back to Earth after being sent out near, like, Pluto, and they're bringing back the STF-1 back to Earth, and the Zentradi are pounding at them, and during some of the dialogue, they're like, yeah, we just lost the entire 5th Squadron. I'm like, that's 72 people that are dead. And, like, the city gets, like, partially wiped out when the big battleship transforms. And they're like, yeah, we had massive casualties. And I'm thinking, they started this with 70,000 plus people. By the time they get home, that number's got to be well under 60. So I'm just thinking, man, when you really look at it, and just the overall story of Robotech, I mean, the Earth gets the shit kicked out of it. It's not a happy ending. I mean, sure, we win at the end of the day, but not without losing, like, billions of people.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh, my God. There was such a good box set put out by A&E, like, 3 years ago. Like, it's really well mastered. It's got lots of special features, stuff like that. I'm hoping... I know Gundam was put out by Bandai, but I don't know whether the box sets are still available. So if anybody knows... Mike at thisweekingeek.net. I'd love to track some of these down someday. Actually, you know who I should ask? I should talk to Spada and ask him, because he would know.
He would probably know.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I like the older stuff, and I feel like such an old guy. I mean, it's kind of like how we think the music from our generation is the fucking best, and it may be us with the rose-colored glasses, or movies from our generation are the best. Although I think you'd have a pretty hard time arguing against a lot of the stuff that came out of the 80s isn't awesome. Looking at Ghostbusters and Aliens and all that cool shit. I don't know. I really wonder what kids today are going to look back at when they're 30 and say, man, do you remember this? It was awesome. I'm really waiting for someone to make an argument that Miley Cyrus is timeless when they're 30 or something. Waiting for that time.
There's no way. And
well, you guys...
while we're on the topic of singers, can we please bring up, and I just want Mike's reaction to this really, because I know Steve doesn't care. Can we please bring up the whole stupid Kanye Paul McCartney thing?
Now, someone told me that was fake. And it honestly doesn't surprise me that kids don't know who Paul McCartney is. But even still, what the fuck?
Which Gundam were you looking for, Mike?
The original one from the 70s.
1979?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, do you guys remember back in the 90s? And I know it's a lot of our Geekcast episodes go like this, but hear me out. Do you remember when there used to be those infomercials on TV that have the dudes in the ugliest fuck Christmas sweaters? And they'd be like, hey man, do you remember music when it was groovy? And they'd be talking about music from the 60s and 70s.
Those shit infomercials.
Yeah. Now, we're at that age where we can do that about music in the 80s and 90s. So I want you to think about that in yet another 20 years. And the kids now are our age or older, and they're like, hey man, do you remember Kanye West and Slipknot?
Oh, wait a
Iggy Azalea and Meghan Trainor? Weren't they awesome? That's when we were jamming. See,
I take pride in not knowing who the hell half of them are.
Yeah, like, it's actually, I was watching this thing on WatchMojo.com the other day, and it was the top 10 catchiest songs that get stuck in your head that are annoying as shit or something. And I realized, I don't know what half these are. I just realized, for a guy who works in radio, though admittedly I'm 99% talk, I have no idea who half the music people are now. I didn't hear that All About the Bass song until yesterday.
I heard. Let me just preface this with saying, I probably would have heard it if I'd still had my old job position, being that they listen to this radio station that plays like this mix of crap that never stops, and meaning that they play the same fucking songs over and over throughout the day. But I heard the Nerdist version first of all about that bass, and it's about the Death Star.
Yeah.
And it's got these 4 geek chicks that dresses like various versions of like Vader, and sing this song, and it's actually really hilarious how it comes out. And then I actually, because I was trying to find it on a different browser and I couldn't remember who made it, I had to type in the name of the song, and I found a couple other parodies, which is how I found the Warp Zone. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, Dodd.
No.
But they do a lot of like gaming related and parodies and whatever. But I find myself like laughing at various versions, because they had one called All About That Ace, and it's League of Legends that they did on theirs. And I actually like that one better, but that's because it's got cosplay chicks in it.
There was a one that came out a couple years ago. Do you guys remember that song Kesha did called TikTok?
No.
Yes.
Okay, there was one that some guy did about the Halo Reach beta, so that should date about how old this song is. And it was so brilliantly done how he could talk about all the different guns to the beat of Kesha. He's like, I got my DEMR and stuff like that, and talking about sniper rifles and shotguns, and it was really well done. I saw another one where it was about Captain Kirk, and it was also done to like TikTok or something like that. It was ridiculous. But yeah, like it's so weird that we're so out of touch with popular, yet we know geek music.
Well, I think it's funny because, like, for instance, they're trying to come up with a new advertising ways for like people our age at the car dealership, and I'm sitting here telling them,
sell me a Volvo now or whatever.
No, what I'm trying to say is that they're trying to come up with new ways to sell to people our generation. The problem is our generation doesn't fucking listen to the radio or watch TV, because one, we want that instant gratification of not having to watch commercials, and two, the radio is filled with so much garbage and repeats that none of us want to listen to it anyway, so we load up our MP3 players or our streaming devices
or
and skip the whole process.
Or satellite radio, yeah. You know,
yeah, I mean, but the point is we find ways to listen to what we want without the commercials.
Yeah.
See, for me,
I recently discovered Spotify.
Really?
Man, this is so much better. Yeah.
Really, you just now found that?
Well, it's only come to Canada in the last couple months.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys
so
get
I've only
everything
started
late.
using it. It's pretty cool though.
For me, you know, I know everyone hates iTunes. Most everyone hates iTunes, but for me, it's great because I can create my own damn playlist and skip whatever songs I want to skip. I think the only time I ever listen to the radio is the very few times my mom and I actually go out to actually like get groceries and stuff, because we don't have anybody else to actually take us to the store. And when we go out, I either put on the classic rock station or the greatest hits kind of station, where it's basically playing music from 10, 20, 30 years ago. You know, it just, radio these days, just no.
Well, it's weird because when me and Blair, for a while, we used to listen to the radio a lot of music radio a lot, and then we noticed we're only listening to really old stuff. And when you listen to the pop stuff that's like the Hot 100 or the Adult Contemporary Top 20 or whatever, you're right, it's a lot of repeats in the same songs. Now, me and Blair listen to a station in Toronto called AM 640 Talk Radio. Now, this is how sad we are. I can tell you who the producers are and the call screeners are on almost every show from 5 a.m. till about 6 p.m. every single day. I know exactly who every host is, every show, every producer.
That's because you produce for them too, don't you? You produce segments for that station.
I've done stuff with them, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that I listen to them so much, like, oh, that's Patrick, that's Mike Stafford, that's Tina. I know who the traffic guys are. That's a new level of sad. I'm 33, not 63.
I'll be 35 in less than a month, and I still, from my my 20-year high school reunion's coming up in about, 4 years or so, and I still remember the day. He is still the chief meteorologist here in Louisville, Kentucky for Channel 32. Jay Cardosi came into my high school with a bunch of other guys and actually gave our media class the old Channel 32 set because they had got a new set at the station. And, it's just one of those things where, when we find somebody we like to listen to or we like to watch, we stick with that person. It's like,
that's very true.
For me, I cannot watch any of the other local weather people here other than Jay Cardosi and John Belsky. Those are the two that I absolutely love, and thankfully they're both at the same station now. And honestly, everybody says, oh, well, everybody's got rose-colored glasses on and nostalgia's crap, and then no, it's not, because we grew up on what we grew up on, and we like what...
Nostalgia is good in moderation.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Because if you let it overpower yourself too much, then you are just hating on it because it's not what you grew up with. But at the same time, it's not saying that our stuff's bad, it's just what we enjoy more.
Well, all right. Let's do an example of this. Look at the Turtles. Look at the Turtles in animation, specifically. You had the 87 series, which we all grew up on. You had the 2003 series, which was new and different, but it still had a certain charm to it. And now you have the 2012 series that is somewhat still going strong. Season 3 hasn't been... We've talked about this on Alter Geek, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this before, long on this, but, we have 3 different iterations that... The other 2 that came after what we grew up on are not horrible reincarnations of the characters and of the situations and the stories. There are plenty of stuff out there where what we grew up on is better than what's currently trying to be done.
Transformers.
I still cannot believe they've done a Paddington Bear live-action movie.
Now, supposedly that's really good. I've heard really good things about it.
I'm just waiting now for a Teddy Ruxpin live-action movie.
Okay, if they did Teddy Ruxpin right, that could be awesome.
Well, and it could also promote reading for kids.
True.
I always thought that the Teddy Ruxpin cartoon is also really fucking cool.
Yeah, it was.
Just never saw enough of the cool bad guys.
Yeah. Now, I will say something about our nostalgia that actually is, has improved over however long it's been since it's been on the air, but, Reading Rainbow, almost every single one of my friends that I know at least watched 1 or 2 episodes of Reading Rainbow as kids. And now LeVar Burton is trying to bring it back for this generation. That's cool and that's amazing.
Well, yeah, especially because he has the whole interactivity with it. I mean, that's a show that's improved with the time, kind of like Sesame Street. It's always remained fairly consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's something that's definitely worked out well.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think a show like Mr. Rogers could ever work again?
No.
That's kind of sad, because I always felt there was a guy...
I think it could work, but I think it'd need that special kind of person.
There was a show here in Canada, and I don't know whether you guys had him. Did you guys ever have a guy named Mr. Dressup?
No.
There's a guy. His name was Mr. Dress Up, and he had this thing called a tickle trunk, which is just full of random things that he would play with, and a little puppet named
That just sounds wrong.
Dude.
Casey and Finnegan.
It sounds
You do
like...
not talk shit about the tickle trunk.
The tickle trunk sounds like something sex offenders use.
Come here, little boy, play with my tickle trunk.
Oh my god, fuck you.
It sounds like you just throw a pee on it, and it's
You have
Let's play
sullied
with
the
my
memory
pickle
of
truck.
the tickle trunk, sir. Oh my god, you're worse than Hitler.
No, come on now.
Hey, I learned this shit from you.
Oh, yeah, probably. Fucking Mecha Hitler here. Okay. Yeah, it just it was a more innocent time in regards to that, and just I don't know. I don't see that on children's TV today. Now, occasionally, because I have insomnia and I don't sleep, I'll watch what's on the fucking kids networks occasionally when I'm bored. And I don't know, man. I think about the coolest thing they have is Dora the Explorer, because that's still going.
Oh, no.
And,
Okay, stop right there. Have you caught...
hey, don't talk shit about Swiper, man.
No, I'm not, but you cannot sit there and say Dora the Explorer is the coolest thing on the kids' networks unless you've already seen the 7D from Disney Channel.
The 7
what's that?
yes.
The 7D is the Seven Dwarfs without Snow White. And it's Kevin Michael Richardson is happy, Maurice LaMarche is grumpy,
The Shredder, the Brain, okay, keep going.
Crap. Wacko, Jess Harnell as one of the villains called Grim Gloom.
What age group is this meant for?
It's meant for everybody. Honestly, there is humor in it for adults and kids.
Okay, well, when I say Dora, I mean the younger kids.
Yeah.
But 7D does sound pretty awesome, actually.
Oh,
now that you
okay.
have my attention, sir.
Okay, so it's also got it's got Ozzy Osbourne's daughter, Kelly Osbourne, is the other villainess called Hildy Gloom. So she and Jess Harnell are quote unquote in a relationship. The whole plot of the show is they want to take over Jollywood. And every time that the Queen needs the 7D, she rings the bing bong bell and they just appear. You also have Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, as Doc. And the cherry on top of all of this is that it's Tom Ruger and almost every single cast and crew member that worked on either Tiny Toons or Animaniacs.
Is this hand-drawn or is it computer?
I'd have to look that up. I think it's a combination of both, but let me check. And I honestly, unless there was a really good actor, like a good middle-aged, like 50, 55-year-old actor, maybe 49, I honestly do not think that anyone could ever, not necessarily replace, but continue on what Mr. Rogers has done.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody in that age range that would really do that.
Probably not.
LeVar Burton would be the closest we could possibly get.
Oh, yeah.
He's the kindly old black man.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman could do it.
Yep. That's true. Oh, yeah.
When we got done watching Andy Dufresne, he was chopping up penguins.
It does not say here. It just says it's an animated series on Wikipedia. It does not say specifically. I can find you some YouTube clips and you can look at it later, Mike. But it also has it has Billy West as the voice of Bashful.
Okay, so we got Wacko, the Shredder, Fry, the Brain. That's amazing. This voice cast sounds amazing.
And because Dopey does not talk, you have D. Bradley Baker just using sound effects for Dopey.
That's awesome.
It is just it's such a great show. I've said this before. You can watch it by yourself. You can watch it with your kids. It's so cool. And for
What
any
surprised me?
what
I just had this thought, just inspiration.
mm-hmm.
Why is there not a new G.I. Joe show on there?
Because they keep getting canceled.
Why is that?
Well, Renegades got canceled because of Rise of Cobra,
which was crap.
and
I mean, Rise of
We're talking about
Retaliation
live
was
action,
better.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, G.I. Joe hasn't had a new show in 5 years now.
Yeah, they get raped.
I don't know why they, I'm not sure why they don't have a new show. And honestly, as far as Hasbro content, now that the hub has reverted back to Discovery Family, I honestly think that Hasbro's going to have to shop to Cartoon Network for any shows at this point. I mean, hell, the new Transformers show, which surprisingly I did not know this, and I should have. Apparently, Transformers Robots in Disguise, the new Transformers animated series, is starting next month in February.
Does that take place in the Bayverse or not?
No, it takes place. Well, yes and no. It takes place more in the Transformers Prime universe, but it's a combination of Transformers Prime and Transformers Animated as far as the animation. It's basically 3D models on 2D backgrounds.
Okay, so is it its own continuity?
It
still matches up with Transformers
It's
Prime.
still
Okay.
it takes place a few years after the end of Predacons Rising.
Okay, cool.
So
Prime was awesome. I'd love to see G.I. Joe get a treatment like that, because you look at Hasbro's properties. My Little Pony's done awesome. Transformers has done awesome. Yet G.I. Joe gets left in the dust.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
Yep. That was another thing which was kind of surprising to me. We mentioned earlier, I think we mentioned this off air, about stuff leaving Netflix. I think Friendship is Magic is gone.
I don't think so.
At least here in the U.S. it is.
Because I know, well, in Canada it may be different because I know. See, that's surprising me because I'm pretty sure you guys still have Equestria Girls, which is the movies.
yeah,
I don't know about the series though.
The main series, I'm looking at it right now, goes out. It's available until February. It's available till Groundhog's Day, so it's all Puxatawny Phil's fault.
Wow, that's surprising. See, that sucks that they're losing all these really good shows.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's all down, and it all comes down to stupid licensing.
What I'd like to know, if I ever get to interview whoever's in charge of the contracts at Netflix, what I'd like to know is, how is it that they can have a contract for, say, a movie like, I don't know, the 1989 Batman film, and it only runs on Netflix for a month, and then it's gone? I don't get that, because
it's probably the studio stipulations. I don't think it's Netflix themselves. I'm thinking that it's definitely studio that's interfering.
See, I don't get that though. I mean, the movies,
but they control the content. They own it.
I understand that part of it.
They're just assholes.
Okay, well, there you go. But I mean, for a 25-year-old movie, why can't it stay on there? Batman Returns and Batman Forever are still on there.
Well, supposedly, specifically because it's Batman, it's because Warner Brothers, I remember hearing about this years ago, they want to launch their own service like Netflix, so they're being very careful on how they license their content to digital.
Yeah.
Because it honestly surprises me, like, why the fuck is Smallville not on Netflix, for example?
Because nobody wants to watch 10 years of a guy pretending to get in a suit.
See, I just want to watch. You know why I want to watch it? I have the Blu-rays. I just don't want to get up.
That's a legitimate reason. It's the same reason why I watched Ace Ventura on Netflix, is because I don't want to stand up and go put the DVD in.
We have turned into a lazy generation, folks.
That's pretty much what it is. When you deal with streaming,
mm-hmm.
it's because you're too lazy to get off your ass and put it in the DVD player.
Okay, I'll do you one better, and this is not necessarily my whole thing of, I don't want to spend my money on this. It's part of that, but that's the other reason why half the time I don't go to the movie theater anymore. It's like, it'll be on Netflix in 3 or 4 months. I can wait, or 5 or 6 months, or however long. It's like, I don't really need to see the movie that badly.
I'll wait till next year.
Yeah.
There's one of these things, and actually, I'm kind of glad you mentioned the whole kind of movie thing. is you look at what happened this past Christmas with the clusterfuck that was The Interview. It opened in theaters and on video on demand on the same day.
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay more to stay at home, watch a movie that's in theaters.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of the fence. I'd rather go to the theater and see it. But that's only because I like the gargantuan screen.
Oh, yeah,
The only thing that's a detractor from me doing that is the fact that I have kids now.
Yeah.
And it's such a pain in the ass to try and coordinate going to a movie because we're not sure, if we're going to be able to get rid of the kid for the day and have one of our parents watch him or just any of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not that we don't want to go. And then the other kind of detractor that kind of is annoying as hell is when you have to deal with all those shitheads that are sitting around you that are going la 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 or ha, 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 or crinkling shit in the background while you're watching the movie, or they invade your personal space, like kicking your seat or pissing and moaning because there's 50 other seats in the theater, but they decide to sit right behind you and then piss and moan because they can't see the screen.
Yeah.
To which I just laugh because I'm like, I'm not moving, asshole. I was here first.
Yeah, like eat shit, Bill.
I know that we all have our different movie theater traditions and whatever else, and way we approach going to the actual theater and see it. For me personally, mine, because of my vision and because I know no one else will sit up here, the movie theater I go to is basically a hole in the wall in a mall that hasn't done anything. Like it's not an outlet mall, but it's not like the bigger malls out in the suburbs where everybody goes to. And for me, I can go down, sit in the front row, and the screen is far enough away where I'm not just careening my neck to look up at it. I'm pretty much just sitting straight, looking on forward at it. And I know sitting in the front row and going in like the middle of the day during the week, like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday at like noon or 1 p.m., no one except maybe 7 people are going to be there. So I never have the problem of people being too loud and whatever else.
I absolutely hate that, but
I like going to movies where it's just a smaller theater, actually, rather than the big IMAX ones. I mean, because I'm now getting used to moving around with a disability, like not just using a cane, I actually occasionally have to use a wheelchair now. I realize how much of a pain in the ass it is to, like, get around. And I don't know, like, although seeing a movie like The Avengers, that's something you want to go to a theater for.
Oh, no.
Necessarily...
Yeah. No. I'm not saying like the big stuff, but like for me, and I mentioned this on the show before, and everybody can go listen to Mike Powers and I on MWire episode 115. For me, Guardians of the Galaxy, because I didn't know the characters, I didn't have any connection to the characters, wasn't as big of a deal as it was to everybody else on the internet. So that was a movie that I waited on until it hit media. No, I agree. Avengers or an Iron Man or, whatever, something like that. Oh, or a Batman or a Superman. Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to the movies.
No, I'm trying to think of the last movie I went to that I actually cared enough to go see in the theater. It was Guardians. Anything since then, I could not be bothered.
The only time I really go to a movie anymore is if it's something that my wife wants to watch as well. Like, sometimes I don't really care one iota of seeing whatever it is, but we go because it's the only chance we have to get out. But on the other hand, there's some movies that we go because I want to see it. Bad enough. Which is, usually a superhero movie, because that's pretty much when I drag her out.
I kind of wish I'd seen Hunger Games.
See, we go see those.
But I can wait till that comes out on Blu-ray, because at least I'd rather have the intimate experience at home. But yeah, for something like Avengers, yeah, that's something I have to go.
Speaking of superhero movies, has everyone seen the Ant-Man teaser?
See, I find the term teaser funny, because that seems like a full trailer to me.
It was a minute and something, so it's a full trailer in my eyes.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right.
I'm just going by what the advertisement said on the agent.
And
This doesn't
I think
say a lot about the movie, which is important.
Well, no, it doesn't, but that's a good thing though, because everybody's like, "Oh, teasers," or "Oh, trailers." Oh, we hate trailers because they basically reveal the whole movie. And lately, we've been getting teasers and trailers that basically give us a glimpse of something, but don't tell us the entire plot of the film.
Well, I was talking about this with Double D, and we were saying that from the Ant-Man movie, it comes across as a lot more serious than what we thought it was going to be. And I thought this was going to be Marvel's more lighthearted-ish movie.
No, that'll be Deadpool when that happens.
Well, that's also Fox and their thing, but
Still.
no, like I kind of saw this as the Ocean's 11 heist movie with Marvel. I'm getting a little bit more of a serious tone from it, but it looks like it's still going to be cool. It would have been cool if we got a shot of the villain Yellow Jacket, but they probably don't have the special effects finished yet. So, which is why a lot of the stuff in that teaser was so fast and kind of motion blurred, which is fine. It still looked cool.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Rudd's going to be a cool Scott Lang. I just hope he sticks around in the role. After this movie's done, will he come back?
I'm more interested to see if they do a flashback of Michael Douglas in the role.
I think they will. They would have to.
See, I could care
Just for like
less.
30 seconds or so.
Steve could care less.
I mean, it's not that I don't dislike them branching off and all these lesser known characters, because I do think that it's kind of cool that they're at least trying to do something different and kind of break away from the Batmans and the Superman and the Iron Man and the Wolverine and all these, mainstream media versions of superheroes. But it kind of goes into this other article that kind of came out earlier in the week that again kind of ties into the media thing. Is I forget who said it, but they basically said that people are just getting sick and tired of all of the dark superhero films.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's gotten to the point. It was Matthew Vaughn says people have had enough of dark superhero movies, which I can see because, I mean, honestly, the numbers are starting to kind of not show as much, and look at, and he even mentions in his article, he says, look at the success of Guardians of the Galaxy. Because there was comedy in there were light moments, and it was still actiony and still dark in spots, but it wasn't, the whole tone wasn't that direction.
Shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you look at, Captain America 2, you look at the X-Men, you look at, pretty much every other movie that came out, Transformers, I mean, yeah, they may have banked, but that's because people want to see the film anyhow, but it's not that they actually enjoyed the film.
See, I think Captain America 2 is a better movie than The Avengers, but The Avengers is a better experience.
Which I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can totally see his point. I'm just trying to think, though.
It's turned to that point, though, that people are getting sick of the Nolan type idea of film, or the Tim Burton, or that kind of very dark, sinister superhero film. And honestly, I'm kind of getting sick of superhero films in general, because with their huge slate of knocking them out until the end of time, it's kind of, not only do you expect them, but then it kind of kills the momentum of them. They can have the plan in place, but they don't need to announce it, is more so what I'm thinking.
But Steve, it's the internet. It's the age of we need everything now.
We're still not getting it.
I know.
We're getting it 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, and it's a waste of, it's like saying, hey, check out our movie. It's coming out this year, but this is what we're going to do. And then you just hear bullshit for it for the next 8 years. I mean, we're still hearing crap from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
And it's 2015, and we're still hearing bullshit for Spider-Man 3. I mean, honestly, who cares? who cares if the studio got involved? Who cares if the director at that time, screwed it up? I mean, he could admit it all he wants now. Nobody cares. It's just it's cannon fodder clickbait.
Yeah, I mean, I think blowing their wad this early was... I can see it from a marketing standpoint, but at the same time, give us something to be excited about. I mean, because you're going to waste all that momentum not even at a Comic-Con or something like that. That's when you want the big push.
I mean, yeah, they've announced them at the Comic-Cons and everything, but I mean, look at how much good and bad PR we've gotten from things that are not even coming out yet. Or not even, being announced or any details on them yet.
Like us talking shit about, like, Suicide Squad, for example?
Well, I mean, that, Batman vs. Superman, I mean, I'm glad I'm done talking about that. I'll talk about that when I see a trailer. But
supposedly this month.
Which they're saying it's going to come out with Jupiter Ascending, or I'll believe it when I see it. They said that about it coming out with Hunger Games and with it coming out with The Hobbit. So again, it comes out in 2016. I'll believe it when I see it.
See, I wish that they would do, and I know DC and Warner Brothers is not Marvel and Disney, but instead of, like, for some people like me who aren't going to go to the theater to see whatever movie just to see a damn trailer, do something like what they did with Agent Carter and Ant-Man. Have it as a sneak peek on TV. Warner Brothers and Fox and whatever can make a deal to have it air at the end of a
Arrow or Flash or something.
Well, no. Well, yeah, but I mean...
Well, they won't want it confusing people, so they'll put it with Gotham.
Fair enough, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. They could have it at the end of an episode of Gotham or something like that, because it's a Batman-related show and whatever else. I don't know. I'm more optimistic for Marvel right now than I am for DC films. Because DC films, we're just waiting at this point.
Marvel has their shit together when it comes to planning and marketing.
Yeah.
He's playing catch up and they're rushing through, and that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too much into this because Steve and I are going to talk about it on Remote Control, but I just saw the 2-hour premiere for Agent Carter, and for someone like me who didn't give a crap about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the first 6 episodes, and I haven't watched an episode since, I just don't care to. I'll come back to it 5-10 years down the line when nobody gives a crap about the show anymore, and hopefully it's not on air anymore.
You should be watching Agents Season 2, because it's going to make Age of Ultron make a lot more fucking sense.
Yeah, but... that also goes into the thing, and I know Steve and I have talked about this before, that, you need a TV show to have movies make sense, or, you need a toy line to make sure you have a TV show so they all make money. I'm so tired of that. It goes back to what we were saying about G.I. Joe earlier. The G.I. Joe toy line does all right, I guess.
But there's not even a presence at Toy Fair this year.
Yeah.
That says something.
Yeah, I mean... I don't know. I am happy for one thing. I am happy that Marvel took back the rights to Star Wars, because now I can actually get Darth Vader in the Ghost Prison, or the what's that trilogy? Crap, Mike, help. The No, not the Thrawn trilogy, the other one. Oh,
Academy, X-Wing.
No, I'll find it. But so what I'm saying is, I love the fact that Marvel has Dark Empire. That's what it was. That Marvel has the Star Wars comics now, because they're all on Comixology, and I can get whatever Star Wars comics trades that I'd like to.
Yeah, but all
read.
those are going to be wiped out, though.
What do you think?
Now, I'm not sure about this, but yeah, you could buy all the Dark Horse comics.
Yeah.
But now, I don't think you can get them anymore.
I'm looking at it right now. Marvel Comics.
Okay, all right then.
I
just remember seeing a link somewhere about that.
Is it, like, new, like, in the last 12 hours?
No, I'm thinking back at the end of the month, but then again, maybe I'm thinking, like, in their original form.
Okay, maybe that's it, because I'm looking at Comixology.com right now, Star Wars debut Marvel, and it has all the Star Wars omnibuses. It has Boba Fett is dead. It has all that stuff.
Oh, those are all the old Dark Horse printing?
I guess. I assume.
I want to see Disney use Star Wars characters in Kingdom Hearts, but that's probably never happened. Although having Darth Vader as a boss in Kingdom Hearts 3 would be fucking sick.
Speaking of
Keyblades, give me a lightsaber.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts 3, did you see Square Enix's tweet? Oops, there was a goof. No release date yet, because apparently Bill Farmer said something on Twitter about the fact that he thinks that most of the voice acting is done and the game is coming this year, and Square Enix tweeted back and said, oops, there was a goof. I thought that was hilarious.
That's funny. I would like to see that game come out, because that's a series I'm going to wait till everything's out and then I'll just play it in one shot.
I loved the first two games. I really did.
I like the idea. I really think the idea is fantastic. I know it's confusing as all shit, but actually, I still need to get Kingdom Hearts 2.5 remix for my PS3. At some point, I'll get around to it. I've got the first game.
What else you want to talk about, Steve?
Well, forget what we talked about last week, but there has been quite a few people that have recently quit IGN.
Yeah, I was surprised that those guys all took off.
Yeah, there were 4 of them, I believe. They all went to go do their own Patreon, podcast, Twitch type thing.
Honestly, I'm not surprised.
I'm not either, because I think IGN kind of, and they more or less said that, is that they got tired of being tied down and told what to do. Because they weren't allowed to cover things they wanted to cover. They had to cover stupid stuff like, hot dogs and weird stuff.
Oh, God. All I can think of is that Captain N episode where they get turned into the Burger Time characters now.
Shut up, you.
What? It was a fun episode.
Yeah, only you know about.
Mike, do you...
I don't remember the Burger Time episode, that's for sure. I remember the Tetris and the Game Boy ones, but not Burger Time. I'm surprised they got the rights to do that. That's really cool.
So, yeah, there's that.
It seems like a lot of the good internet in content is, like, from the big guys is gone. Like, Revision 3's fucking toast. IGN's shifting.
Well, Revision 3 got bought out.
But all the good people are gone. Like, there's no Nick, Tara... Or my favorite guy was Scott Bromley and Max Scoville were like my 2 favorites. There was a show he did. He only did like 4 or 5 episodes, but it was Scott Bromley's Internet Rabbit Hole, and it was so well researched and so well done. I fucking miss that guy. Anyway.
But anyways, yeah. So recently they had Harry Potter in Flint, Michigan.
Really? They had Daniel Radcliffe?
Yes.
Hanging out wide.
Apparently his actress girlfriend is from here.
Oh, that's cool.
Because they were making a big deal about it. They're like, oh, he went to Bob Evans and in like Grand Blanc and in Flint, and they were going around town buying stuff, and
Lord,
people were making a big deal out of it. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of neat, but then, I don't care because it's Harry Potter. If it were somebody I actually, enjoyed watching on screen, I'd probably jump at the chance. But some employees of theirs managed to snap pictures of it and post it all over. Which, who wouldn't? I brought this up with Blanchard the other day. NASA. is willing to pay you $18,000 to stay in bed for 70 straight days.
Okay, I'm up.
You're allowed to be on your phone, your computer, read comics, read books, whatever, watch TV.
You just
I go to
can't.
the bathroom,
You just cannot get up.
like ever.
Ever. You have to lay there for 70 days.
$18,000.
Yep.
Yes. You do not have to physically get up. You can Skype, you can be on the phone, you can do whatever.
Sex?
I don't know. If somebody else did the jumping on top of, I think that it could be all the play could be good.
I'm just trying to think here. Like, are they studying the effects of muscle deterioration, or?
I think so. It's to test muscle atrophy and things like that.
Now, do they hook you up to a catheter, or like how do you go to the bathroom?
I'm pretty sure they do.
I don't know if I could do that then. Talking about shitting in a bedpan, I don't know.
I told Steve.
But the benefit is somebody else wipes your ass for you.
$18,000 for a little bit of indignity.
I told
70
Steve.
days.
I told Steve that's not enough money. It would for me to actually do it. It would have to be like $118 million.
Fuck you, dude. That would change your life. If you got that money right now, that would change your life.
That's a lot of money.
I would come down to Kentucky, Blanchard, and help you set up your podcasting studio so you can broadcast from bed.
No.
The only thing I couldn't do is edit laying down. That would be really hard. But not impossible.
I don't think you have to actually lay down. I just think you have to be in bed.
Well, in that case, fuck yes. Hook a brother up, stick a rod up my wang, and wipe my ass. Let's go.
God.
Hey, how do you shower?
You don't.
Very carefully.
Sponge bath.
Is that with SpongeBob?
No, he said
I
sponge.
guess it's no different than being in like a nursing home, I guess.
Yeah.
Not really, except the difference is you can move there.
Not
and
if you
flail
were
your arms madly.
You know what? Honestly, I would do it. So for $18,000, I can deal with that.
It would be fun to act like a crazy person too.
Oh man.
Lay there. God damn it! Get off me!
They're in my eyes.
You just stabbed me in my face, you motherfucker. Oh. So yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. Blanchard's like, no way in hell, no.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, sign me up. I'm a slut for money, man. What can I say?
Now, if I had built my desk around a bed, and I just had to lay there, I think I could do it.
And if you could maybe find a way to get like one of those, because you'd have to do some kind of exercise. But I guess if it's for your muscle atrophy, rebuilding your legs is gonna suck. But you could do that with a pool in like a month or two.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I have to do for my for my physiotherapy. Is I have to go in the water, rebuild the strength in my knees. So I don't know. That's a lot of money, and it's a lot of your. I guess to do it though, you'd have to be in the right position in your life and financially secure. But still, $18,000 to just lay there.
You're forgetting the other part of this. For 70 days.
I haven't left the house in 3 weeks. I'm partway in there.
You're like, I'm partway there.
See, it's all about the state of mind.
But so yeah, there's that. Sony has the Walkman trying to make a revival for $1,100, $1,200.
Yeah.
And the best part about it is it's got high resolution audio playback, is Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and NFC enabled. It runs on Android 4.2, which is outdated. Touchscreen Android apps via the Play Store. And it comes with a 128 gigabyte hard drive with 60 hours of playback.
For $1,100? No.
$1,200. But yeah, and it has the ability for an extra storage micro SD slot.
So they're just trying to sell the name at this point.
Essentially. But it's like a glorified iPod mixed with the Walkman. It's strange. Plus an Android phone if you mix it. So
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I think it'd be interesting, but I would never pay that much.
I'm just taking a look at the bed study. Yeah, fuck that. Just looking at some of the requirements you have to do, and holy shit.
What are the requirements?
Okay, first off, you have to go through a 13 or 21 day training period. You have to go to this facility in Texas.
Well, you've been to Texas before.
Yeah, well, it's only Galveston, so whatever. Yeah, you have to spend 105 days, and non-exercising subjects will spend 97 days in the research unit.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! And you have.
But if they,
you're in such an odd position, but you do exercise. They just have you do it laying down. It's really weird. Oh, no, wait. You are limited to getting out of bed except for limited times for specific tests. You might be able to go take a shit. May not be so bad.
For peeing, they give you a bottle of Mountain Dew. And then they feed it to their scientists.
No,
I'm sorry, I'm looking into this way too hard, but that's really funny.
What's the other one? Oh, AT&T has now, starting January 25th, they're going to have rollover data. Like how they used to do the rollover minutes. I actually kind of like that idea. The only restriction is they let you roll over for 1 month, so it'll prevent you from having overages.
Right.
Every month, provided you don't go over on the previous month. So, I have the 3 gigabyte plan, so I'm quite happy. I did have 2, and then they were giving away the third, that extra gig for free for the same price. So I was like, well, sign me up then. So they did, and so now I'll essentially roll over about 2 gigs every month because we operate on Wi-Fi mostly. So it should be fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nike swears they're going to come out with a Back to the Future shoe with power laces this year, but I call bullshit.
Okay.
Well, supposedly they're having trouble figuring out the power supply, and someone in like a chat thread, I think on IO9, said, well, why not make it USB powered and only have enough for 10 laces, then you have to charge them up again. This shouldn't be that hard.
I don't see why they can't make it so that they charge by you walking.
That would be awesome.
Induction, yeah. You can even put like a really small kind of solar cell on there.
Or another way of doing it is they could do like the Wii Fit board with a power induction system, and you have to stand on it when you put your shoes on, and it will auto lace it up while you're standing there because it'll generate the power. So instead of having it plugged in, you just stand on this board while you're putting your shoes on.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
You do it via magnets or something.
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
Now they just need the jackets.
I mean, what are the applications of the self-lacing shoe, other than being fucking cool? Is, for example, I have difficulty tying my shoes because I'm a bigger guy, right? So bending over can suck.
Yes, it can.
Well, so, it'll help you in that instance, but it'll also make kids stupid.
True.
Because they won't know how to tie their own damn shoe.
But if they could assure the perfect fit with these auto LASIK shoes, I'd be cool with that.
And let's face it, though, nobody but people like us are gonna want these shoes. No kid. Okay, Steve, unless you're going to raise Ian to the point that, 10, 15 years from now, and when the power lacing shoes have already happened and have gone down in price to like $50, sure, you're going to, teach him about it and whatever else. But like teenagers today, they don't care about Back to the Future.
No, but they are antisocial putzes most of the time, so...
True.
Very true.
Just saying. Just saying. Not trying to sound like a dick.
Very true.
They stare at their phones more than we do, and I thought we were addicted. We at least socialize and go to conventions, and oh wait, they do some of that, but they don't actually go and pay attention. I'm digging a hole.
Yes.
Jumping ship. Microsoft, I don't know what their latest thing is, but they're enjoying this Halo thing because Halo is like their mascot now. They're coming up with the Spartan web browser to replace Internet Explorer, which should have been retired years ago. And then on top of it, the Windows phones has Cortana,
which is pretty friggin' badass.
I'm not denying that. I've seen actual footage of that working. I would love to have a Windows phone, but I like my Android phone too much.
I like my iPhone too much to switch.
I hate Apple. I do. I cannot stand that company. They recently made us get iPads for signing up customers for General Motors, like credit cards or credit or whatever to buy a car.
Yeah.
So now that they're making us use these stupid things, I had to go around and set them up for these finance people who have no fucking clue how to set it up either because they don't have iPhones. And I don't either. And I hate them with a passion, so it bothers me. It's like putting a like garlic to Dracula. It burns me to touch it. It's one of those things. It just bothers me. I can't stand it because it's probably some guy our age that's like in the corporate world sitting there telling them, this would be such a great idea. We should get an iPad in there and then have everything run through that.
Okay, so we don't, and I hope, Steve, you don't mind this, but I have to bring this up since I just saw this on Facebook. And, Mike, I know you'll like this because you like wrestling. Bleacher Report has the 2015 WWE pay-per-view schedule. The only name on here that I have no idea what the pay-per-view is going to be is February's pay-per-view, which is titled Fastlane. And I'm like, wait a second, what are they all going to do? Get into cars and have like a Need for Speed race or something or other?
Maybe it'll be like a Beat the Clock challenge or something.
Maybe. But yeah, the standard, obviously January, this month is the Royal Rumble, Fastlane's in February, WrestleMania's in March. Extreme Rules is in April. Payback is in May. Money in the Bank is in June. The rest of them are pretty much the same. What surprises me about some of these things is the locations that they choose. Like, when I think of SummerSlam, I think of hell, even WrestleMania. I would love for them to do more outdoor venues for those two pay-per-views. Like, I think the only time I've ever seen an outdoor venue for WrestleMania was WrestleMania 24 when it was in Florida.
They did one for Las Vegas.
That's true. I don't know.
And I think Toronto, it was outdoors too.
Okay, we can move on now, Steve. Sorry.
So kind of leaving all of this news behind. If you haven't already checked out on the Geekcast Radio website, we are having the GCRN Awards. Mm-hmm. And in doing the awards, basically, you click on the banner on the website, just below the logo, it says submit, click here, or check out the Facebook fan page. This awards is running differently than last time, in case I didn't explain it last episode, which, again, can't remember. I think I vaguely touched on it because we were doing the GCRN 75. Mm-hmm. This one, because of some of the backlash last year during the tournament, we had selected amongst the staff what would be in each category,
right,
for the top fives to vote on.
Right.
So what we're doing this year is we're making a form where you, the listeners, have to fill it out yourself. Because I think it's kind of unfair for sites in general. You know, when you do like the MTV Movie Awards, or you do, you know, whatever. I think that critics and all of these ways that they do it are total bullshit. The reasons how they come up with things, because in my eyes, a lot of the stuff that should win doesn't win, and a lot of the stuff that shouldn't win does win. So I like this method better. So we're experimenting with it this year. There's the TV category: animation, cartoons, games, comics, movies, Geekcast Radio Network, and podcasts, non-GCRN categories. Now, there's varying numbers of the fill-out forms below each one. You know, whether it be best new show, best action adventure, best sci-fi, best, you know, new release, best story, best whatever. And it's all on one page. So people will be happy about that. We're not doing clickbait like IGN or other sites. The benefit of doing it this way is we get to go through the entire month of January filling this out. And in February, I will change this page over, and it will have the voting of the top fives of each category. Which will be, again, selected from the top five of each submission that goes through. So
Right.
The voting will be the entire month of February, and after that, on the beginning of March, once we have all the tallies together, we will come back and do a Geekcast Radio episode of the GCRN Awards results.
Yep. It will be GCR episode 80 in March.
Any thoughts or comments?
I'm looking forward to
Woo!
it.
I will say that the because I've looked over some of the forums, the comics one is vastly the one that people have skipped in various degrees, because if you don't know some of those, then it's not going to be one that's going to be easy to fill out.
Yeah.
And then the one that are for the podcast, originally it had whatever the first one was in that list, and then it was brought to my attention by one of our partner podcasts that their partner podcast was not on there as number one, if, you know, they were going to have the drop down. So I put select one in there to kind of prevent that.
Right.
Because it was an experiment. I didn't really think that it was going to go that way. Even though I filled it out afterward, I didn't really put too much thought into it. But so it is corrected. It should be fun. Should be a nice experiment to find out what happens.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Should we also bring up the other thing we're looking for? A couple of things we're looking for.
As far as
writers and other submissions.
Yeah, we can.
Well, I was just going to bring up the writers. We're pretty much looking for like someone who can be a tech writer for us to write up articles on technology. Video game writers, we're looking for those. So
music, miscellaneous, something that's not TV or film related.
Yeah, something that's not TV, film, that kind of thing. With the podcast submission thing to join the network, we are looking for specific topic shows from this point forward. So if you have a Captain Planet podcast, if you have a My Little Pony podcast, if you have a Ghostbusters podcast. If you have anything that we don't already have a podcast for that is in the syndication portion, the partner portion.
Or if it's something we cover already, then we're not going to look for it either.
Right.
But like if there's one Doctor Who, we're not looking for a second one,
Right.
honestly.
Right.
And so on. Like if it's Turtles or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just it's to prevent doubling up.
Yep. Pretty much.
No disrespect to anyone if you were attempting that, but it's just to kind of make it easier. We're also doing the donate to GCRN, and in this effort, the goal is to help us protect the site, our name, the keeping quality content coming to you, and all that kind of stuff. So that's at the top of the website too. So yeah, that's pretty much all the site
Stuff.
information. Yes, I said it without an R. And I was going to bring up something else that has nothing to do with the site, but
What was it?
I was going to talk about the fact they changed Power Girl again.
Oh no, they did. Seriously?
Yeah. It says Power Girl loses her cleavage in new outfit.
Oh,
And,
seriously?
yeah.
Just put
Open
that
boob
outfit
window
look
is
cool.
gone. They've replaced her with because they had a scientist in Earth 2 send Power Girl back to her home universe, and they've been setting up this Tanya Spears, which is African American, to replace her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got like this leather jacket type thing, and like an all white uniform with some black on it, and it says the new Power Girl,
Yeah.
who's 16 years old, and
Well, no wonder she had to lose the cleavage.
she's a minor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a completely different character, so in this case, I don't care. But if they had taken the exact same character...
It's like taking Steel and, he's like a Superman knockoff. It's different character. It's or basically like having another Green Lantern. It's more equal to that, I would say.
Mhm.
It's not like the whole Captain America Thor thing from a while back.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to bring it up, because I didn't want to jump on that.
I know Steve isn't reading a lot of comics these days. I don't know if you read a lot of comics, Mike. I'm going to pimp this out here. It's been a couple of weeks, but over on the Pullbag, I had Jim and Eric from Weird Science of DC blog on the show, and we actually went through and talked about DC Comics' 13 cancellations before their big convergence event, so they can move from New York to LA, starting in March or April of this year. So head on over there for all that fun DC discussion news stuff. Some of the books that are in Convergence, some of the 2-part story books that are going to be in there, I'm really looking forward to, like the Dick Grayson Oracle or Green Arrow and that kind of thing. But I've mentioned before on the show, my comic reading has pretty much expanded beyond DC Comics at this point because they're just not doing anything I really care about. And I gotta say, Image Comics, best original publisher at this point. As far as original content and creator-owned content, they have some really cool friggin' books over there.
So yeah. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it up?
I come back to Twig beginning next week with the Nerd News Network. Topic show this month is Bill Murray, which should be a lot of fun. Got some prototypes, some movie madnesses coming up. We might have some downtime later on this month as we move to a new host. So, sorry for our dust and stuff we find under the couch. Hopefully things should go pretty smooth. I'm looking forward to it. Should be pretty cool. So, same great content. Nothing really changes as far as I know. So, yeah.
Sounds good. TFG1?
Yes.
Anything else?
Stand the GTFO.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I can't think of too much else. Look for more M-Wires, more Tooncast Beyonds this year. We are finally, after about, I don't know, 6 years, going to get to the Gargoyles episode at some point this year. So that's pretty much it.
Ice cream!
I scream, you scream, Will. Shut up. Alrighty then. So, without further ado, if you'd like to interact with the show, you can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. Email us at feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on the website. And get a hold of us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio, #AlteredGeek. My Twitter handle is at SCP21, and yours are, guys?
TFG and Mike.
At Birdman Dodd.
So, thank you as always for joining us on Altered Geek Unlimited. Get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. See you next time.
Bye, guys.